turned out it wasn't doing.
It wasn't okay. We're live, Fitzgerald. We're live. We're live, everyone. Greetings, family. Greetings, everyone. We are live again. What's today? Today's Tuesday or Wednesday, Fitzgerald.
Tuesday.
It's raining here in Atlanta.
Sunny here in Tampa.
What is it, like in the 60s, 70s?
Oh God, no, man. It's 83 degrees right now. Nice tropical breezes swaying the palm trees. You ought to come down and visit, man. You ought to come down and visit more.
No, it's 57. It's like 57 today in Atlanta, and it's raining.
No, it's spring break happening down here, so we're getting inundated with a lot of travelers, and airport is really crazy.
Spring break. What's going on in Tampa? I mean, what goes on in Tampa?
It's spring break, and the SEC basketball March Madness championship is here.
That's over, ain't it? Oh no. The women's is over. I think the women is over.
No, the men's is getting ready to crank off in a little bit. So but a lot of things going on down here, man. They're trying to get things back popping. Florida's built on tourism. It's a big part of the economy down here. So plus it's like a mass-free state, and people coming down there take advantage of that and sunshine and everything. So man, I was at St. Petersburg Beach yesterday. So it's pretty smooth, man. A nice
Just Speedo on Fitzgerald Paul.
I didn't wear Speedos today. That was for you. But
that was okay. That's me.
I wore it yesterday and everything. Speedo season is not time for me yet.
Okay. All right, well, so we are live again. Family Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. I got my brother on with us, Fitzgerald Stevens, and before we get started, a couple of announcements. Tour Sierra Leone. Rolling April 20th to the 30th. Sierra Leone, if you're eligible for citizenship, come enroll. Or you could be eligible for citizenship if you have your DNA results through African ancestry. And if it links you back to Sierra Leone, you are eligible for citizenship. So hit me up. Go to Danfo, DANFO, .Africa. Again, Danfo, DANFO, .Africa. Go there, check us out, send me a message, and we will love to have you on this awesome tour. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also hit that like button. Please hit the like button, family. Without further ado, we got my brother on today. My brother, my mentor, somebody I highly respect, Mr. Fitzgerald Stevens. And today we're going to talk about marriage. Should Black men get married? Is it worth it to get married in order to save the Black community? Because people say the Black family, we got to save the Black family. We need 2-parent households. You need to be married. But then the other side, you got a lot of men saying, look, I've been married 2-3 times. Wife divorced me, took everything. I ain't got a pot to piss in. It ain't worth it as far as to get married. It's not worth it. I pay child support now. She hit me over the head with child support, alimony, So that's today's topic. So we got brother Fitzgerald Stevens on with us today. And guys, make sure you subscribe to Fitzgerald's YouTube page. Find Ways to Win. Find Ways to Win. Go and subscribe to his channel. Brother Fitzgerald drops jewels. So, Fitzgerald, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, first and foremost, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, whatever part of the world you're in. My name is Fitzgerald Stevens, and just want to expound some views that I believe in reference to a critical relationship called marriage. The host asked a great question that millions of people, men, women all over the world is asking: is marriage worth it? And I say emphatically yes. We see problems that's going on with the child court, the family court. I can only speak for the United States of America, the country of my birth and citizenship. But I know a marriage is being assaulted all over. I know there's a men's movement called the red pill movement. One of the primary things it is somewhat a critic of marriage. One other thing we see is movements with even with women not wanting to get married, believing they can do fine as a single mother, and there are many views out there about that. But yes, marriage is critical to building strong families, which builds strong nations. Marriage is one of the primary precursors of gaining economic wealth. Two are better than one. It is the best environment to rear and raise children, regardless of how well, how much people would say that I'm fine as a single mother and I don't need a man. Um, you're lying. That's a lie. Whether a man would say I can go ahead and knock as many women down as I want, and I can, as long as I take care of my kids, and as long as I send a check, and and or if I'm providing for them, I don't necessarily need to live with their mother. I don't necessarily need to be there as long as I send my pay my child support. That's that's not okay. That's not fine. It's not okay because you're literally destroying the family that you say you are for. You're literally greatly damaging your offspring by not having both that male and female union to help facilitate the sound mental, emotional, physical, and financial growth of that child. Now, for those who find themselves in these situations, which you are rearing children alone, or you are first became widowhood, am I asking you to go back out there to marry? No, that's your choice. Marriage is an individual choice. Do we see a lot of failure rate in marriage? Yeah, close to near 80%. But it's not a very very good look for it. But I want you to know when it all boils down to it, when I said this many times on my channel, find ways to win, Fitzgerald Stevens, you are responsible for your choices. You're the one that picked that person. You're the one to choose to lie with that person. You was the thing that said they were the best thing since sliced bread. You made a covenant, whether you like it or not, and God's gonna hold you to that. That's on you. You know, are there things that you absolutely can't stay? Yeah, yeah. Is a covenant broken through adultery or desertion? Absolutely. Do you are you advocating going and just constantly getting married after married after married, uh, when relationships don't go your way, or um, that's your choice. But you're going to have to expect that you're going to have to overcome things in order to make things work for the survival of the family, for the survival of the next generation. You want to be thinking somewhere along the line, at least 3 to 4 generations ahead. I mean, what are you doing? We see generations of single mothers, and generation of men who father children with multiple women and not really taking care of them, and think because they're sending a check instead of their time, which the child would value more, that they're actually doing something. Um, your marriage in the way right now is a wreck, but that's not how the Most High created it. No, an institution that He formed, that He established, He didn't create it like that. And there are certain boundaries and certain rules that must be adhered to. And the Word of God says that he that finds a wife finds a good thing and attains favor of the Lord. Either you're going to believe that or you're not. But there are certain rules of engagement that everything has to follow. Everything follow rules or universal laws. If you're not following the proper universal laws or the proper universal rules of marriage, oh, that's an interesting thing. Do you even know them? Do you are you prepared for marriage before you get married, or you just happen to love him, love her? Is the sex real good? You're gonna try it out. Well, that's the first law you done broken right there. You're in fornication. You can't expect the Most High to bless that and then deliberately violating His laws and rules. What you believe in when it comes to your particular belief or your particular faith or your particular rule system, that's on you. Um, I'm based in mind. I'm based in mind on what the Most High has said to me and has said throughout His Word. Whether you want to say you don't believe it or not, that's cool and dandy. You don't necessarily have to believe in gravity, but step off a penthouse, the ground will be there to meet you. It doesn't make a difference where what you believe. There are certain things that are established by Him. You want good relationship. What are the rules? We find that some cultures are better with unions than with unions than other than the, should I say some subcultures are better with marriage and unions more so than others. You think it's about money? You think you got to have a whole bunch of money to make things work? Well, tell that to some of my Spanish brothers, even over here in the United States, where they're with their husband out there bringing lunch pail, and both of them are grinding and working together. Sometimes with little so-called material things that.
Fitzgerald, if I can share this story real quick, and then I got a couple questions. I tell people this all the time. So I was getting my floors redone in my house, and so I pulled the contractor to the side and said, "Hey, I want to get my house painted, the inside, some areas painted as well." He said, "Okay, just talk to one of the workers, Hispanic guy, and ask him, will he come back and paint?" So I pulled him to the side, said, "Hey, can you come paint? I got the paint here." He's like, "Cool, no worries." That was on a Saturday. He came back that following day, that Sunday. He didn't come by himself. He came with his wife. When I say his wife was prepping everything and he was doing the rolling, and they knocked it out like that. He was doing the rolling, and they knocked it out like that. You got some is replaying.
Yeah, it's just taken care of. Apologies for that. Yes, but see, Prince, I don't want you. I don't want someone in. Excuse me for interrupting. May I interject something on your point? I don't want it to be seen that someone picked it up. Oh, they're saying the Spanish people doing this. They're saying, no, this story was to that man and his wife alone. He just happened to be Hispanic. This story, I don't want you to apply about a couple examples off of a whole group. There are many successful Black marriages, white marriages of all groups over the world. They're successful because they embody to a certain group of principles, understanding the rules of the game, understanding rules of engagement, understanding covenants, understanding the keeping of covenant and the consequences of breaking covenant. Well, I haven't heard that said a lot, when in reference to this topic, that marriage is a covenant. If you study covenants, there's a thing, you do this, I will do this. If this is broken, this is the calamity, this is the consequences of breaking that covenant. You keep this covenant, this is the benefits of keeping that. So much more, and there's no fear and there's no reverence of that. I adhere to the Most High. I adhere to what He says. Now, let me go ahead and say this. I failed in marriage. It's not that I never. I mean, why the reasons? Hey, evidently the rules of this was not kept. Whose fault of it is right there? Mine or my wife's? Well, I agreed to it just like she did. but it takes only one just to break that. Getting all into my story, getting on the whys of my story didn't make a difference. I failed at marriage, okay, which was one of the reasons that Prince knows that I steered away from this topic, because my thinking was simply this: man, I failed in marriage, and currently separated right now. 4 years. I haven't, going on 4 years. I haven't seen my wife, but am I still married to her? Yeah. Yeah, I'm still married to her. Do I conduct myself as a married man? Yes. Yes. Do I have grounds to leave? Based on the two things I told you that broke the covenant? Yes. Okay. But until that divorce is signed, by me, until that divorce is declared, until a termination, I abide by the rules of that. If there's something she needs, she wants it, she wants my help, and rather that, I'm obligated to do it. I'm obligated to provide it. Now, let me also say another thing. With those 4 years, I've been celibate. No, I haven't lied with any other woman. Although I live alone down here, and attractive cat, well poised, know how to speak and stuff like that. Why? Because that puts me in the realm of adultery. And if I'm trying to walk in that, how do I expect the blessings of the Most High to continue to flow in my life if I'm deliberately, willfully rebelling against what He has told me to do? Would I like to get married again? I don't know. It took so much out of me. I don't know. Would I be up for the possibility with the right person? Absolutely. But just because I failed, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't make me not able to speak about this, and doesn't make me certainly talk down upon this union that marriage is just gone out there and it doesn't benefit anybody because I failed. No, I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't follow the rules.
Fitzgerald, can I ask a question, and then continue your statement, but just ask a quick question. Would you recommend getting legally married by the state, or because some people say that piece of paper,
great question, great
yeah.
question. You guys ready for the answer? State doesn't establish marriage. The Most High does. I mean, how do you explain our forefathers that were they going down there to a justice of a peace for thousands and thousands of years? Were they necessarily had someone to say that they was married? No. Their institution has been working for thousands upon thousands of years. It's the West that's seen to put this into, that seems to get involved with the God's institution of marriage. State shouldn't have anything to do with marriage. Only thing the state wants to do with it, to tell you where to properly divide your property and who's paying who and who's doing who, which is one of the things that the state is actually anti-marriage. Ask those who are paying excessive child support, or men and women these days, because they want to equal over here in this country, men and women. I was reading about a story of one of our entertainers with the initials MJ. That she is paying her husband. Well, you wanted equal equality. Okay, you got it. But does that make the institution wrong? Does that make the institution foul because foul people fouled it up? No. We are seeing the consequences of breaking the Most High's laws in this thing. We're seeing it with the children running rampage, and we're seeing it with movements, whether it's transgenderism. I mean, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. You born a man, but you want to compete in women's sports or act like a woman. Well, hell, that's your business. God don't bless that. We're seeing it with the homosexual movement against the traditional forms of marriage. Let me define marriage. The godly union between one man, one woman, Now, for you guys out there saying that it's okay to marry many wives, okay, I'll give you that. But why can't many women marry many husbands? You see how it becomes a little twisted. I personally found that I had my hands full, everything I could do to handle one. you know. And then when I say handle, I don't mean like handle like she was a circus animal. I'm talking about being there to focus on my home, to focus on the unit. I never had children, so I don't really know what that is. I don't know what the hardships of raising children. Although I did have stepchildren, but I don't know really what the hardship of that is. I hear a lot of people. Talk about that and the sacrifice they make, and I admire that. The Bible supports polygamy and doesn't support multiple husbands. Okay, we're bringing the Bible in it, you know. Okay, all right, okay, that's for another conversation. But explain this one to me. When the Most High told Solomon, "You shall not multiply wives nor horses." Explain that one to me. No, it's a whole lot of it's a whole lot of things that we can go, and this can go on many different streams. Now, getting back to what I stated, we see the consequences of the breakdown of marriage, which is synonymous with the breakdown of family structures. Now, this channel is mostly black centered, totally black centered, and when I say black, I'm talking about black men and women all over the world. You give yourself the titles that you want: African American, Caribbean, Canadian. I'm talking about those who have skins that look like mine and our host right there, black skin. Not talking about whether we're African American, Caribbean American, Belize. I don't care, but that's not the thing right there. In this particular country where I live in here, where where we used to have dang near 80 to 87% marriage rate, despite Jim Crowism, which is another form of apartheid, the same thing. Despite despite economic disadvantages, our power was in our families. Our power was in our ability to give a family. Long hold somebody come along can convince that we need to have the right to go ahead to eat at someone's lunch counter who didn't want us there in the first dang place. Okay, we wanted equal rights. Well, it goes along like that. We didn't need to be discriminated against when going down the highway and many things. We need to be regulated it's the second class citizens. I get that. But somewhere along the line, back in the 60s, there's this little thing called welfare led around with the stipulation that we'll give you economic support, which begs the difference. What happened to the building of businesses by black people then in this country? What happened prior to that? What just overkept that way? How that just poof and just was gone? Because if you wanted our government help, Democratic Party, your father or the man must be out the house. We will take the head of the household out. That was signed off by black women. Because it never could occur without them. We see that. So we go from dang near 87, 85, 87% marriage rate, where families were strong, where families, dressed and present themselves with dignity, where black families had businesses and black families had their own schools, they had their own shops. All of a sudden we abandoned all that. And because we wanted to be like the other nations and the other people, and just basically abandon principles of God when it came to establishing our family. And a little surprised while we have all these entanglements, situations where over half our children are being reared in single homes, side chicks, side dudes, work husbands, work wives, extraction of our wealth, because marriage is the best environment to build economic wealth. Say what you want. Two is better than one. Well, we can go ahead and live together. Blessing of God isn't on just living together. He commands. He requires a covenant for him to work. You think the Most High just gonna circumvent His rule for you, or when you are deliberately going against what is plain written? Well, the Bible is the white man's book. No, the Bible's written to Hebrew people. Those are black people. That's who it's written to. You look at the white man and so-called whatever you want to call it. Just because someone scrambled and gave God's law in a foul thing doesn't make the God who gave the law foul. Have you cross-referenced the white man's book with the Apocrypha, book of Jasher, book of Enoch? No, there's all kinds of sources out there, and you read them. He had his codes for specific people, and he had his codes for a specific order and the way of doing things. And then when you don't know that way, how are you going to possibly have expect to have success? Well, Mr. Fitzgerald, that worked for you, and that worked for you, worked for me. This worked for me. I'll do it my way. That's the way you believe. I believe what I believe is that type of thinking right there, where you believe what you want to believe instead of being directed by the Most High. It's what got your butt in the sling right now. It's what's going to continue to wreck our people and wreck our nation. I'm talking about the primary black nation. I'm talking about that on this audience because Search of Uru references an African-centric channel. It's a little wonder we're at the bottom economically. Many of the health issues and diseases, we're the first to really get those. Ill-treated. Children with dark colored skins, as well as adults who grow up with dark colored skins, are filling the prison houses. Male is seen being ridiculed. The authority is not being followed in the home. Subsequently, God didn't make the marriage partners in the relationship equal. Prince, you said to bring it. You said, you said to talk about these things.
Of course, we want the authentic you.
Hall didn't say anything. God didn't make the thing equal. God has a structure. The most high is the head of all. Man comes up under him. And then the woman comes up. The man is the head, and the children come up under that. We don't have equal roles, but we do have roles. The man is the provider. Dude, if you're not capable of providing for a woman, if you're not capable of being able to uphold that woman, economically, spiritually, or capable of lead, you don't have business with that woman. In the Bible, I as a man, or should I say, God's word established, I as a man, I couldn't just come and get the daughter of Prince Dinas Amir without bringing him a dowry. I had to bring him something of value for his daughter, and he dared not present his daughter to me, who was not a virgin. That was automatically breaking the covenant. No, but if I had to pay him and take his daughter from his house under his covering and protection to have provision from my house under my covering and protection. According to the rules of the Most High. ACA Judy 100. Marriage does not work. Stay single. Do not shack. Well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. But centuries of marriage, successful relationships, death do you part, has said that that's not the fact with your words. The fact of marriage does work with a proper understanding, a proper alignment of covenant, and a proper commitment to it. Now, be the right person. Examine if you are that. Sit down. Discuss. discuss objectives, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. I mean, another thing about using a scenario with Prince Amir, I had to come to him first. I had to come to him, and as a man, he would look at me, and see if I was worthy to be a part of his family, be a part of his daughter's life. Could I handle the task of a man? That's the way it was done. That's the way it was done in the days of old, and they seemed to make a very good go at it. I'm quite sure they had disagreements, and I'm quite sure they had situations too. But I don't read much about divorce rates in ancient texts. No, I don't seem to see that. I don't seem to read about the children going off at the adults, or little boys out of pocket or dishonoring elders. I don't seem to read a lot about that. I don't seem to read that the husband wasn't taking care of his wife, the obligation he has, or because he was shunned by the community. She was shunned by the community. You couldn't just go ahead and do those things and just think you're just going to go on like La La Land, like they do over here in this nation. And we see the chaos, and we see the results of that. Now, I would say, well, to each his own. No, I believe as I believe, and you believe as you believe. Okay, let's take mine and your belief out of this. What does the Most High say? The God that you say you follow, the God that you're asking to bless you with things, the God that you're saying that provides for you, the God that you say you fear. What does he say? If you're not under his umbrella, or by just choosing to be so, well, that's your choice. I in turn want my life to be blessed. I don't have to be a marriage expert to walk outside my door and look at the chaos this is going on. Look at the breakdown of family structure that's happening all over. I mean, nor do you. But let's just bring it home to you. Let's bring it home to you and stuff like that. What type of environment you want to raise your children in? What type of environment you want to be in? You want to die alone? You want to die in poverty? Well, statistics say most when it comes to women, that's exactly what happened. You will have a higher chance of poverty and dying alone. If you're dying alone, that means somebody's left or someone's gone, whether through death or whether through desertion, whether whatever. The union is broken, so now we get the consequences of that. What about the children? No. Man, you got multiple children, multiple women. All right, you feel cool about that, having your family divided? I personally like my children all under one roof with one woman. Where I can influence, or where I can do. I think that's the best environment to raise a family in. It's not about just you. You can't a la carte the rules of the Most High and pick and choose which one you want to abide with and desire that he blesses you, that he looks favorably upon you, that he opens up doors, and you just a la carte what you want to do. No, you can't just break rules of covenant and think there are not going to be any consequences, and look around you. When you hear about black children being raised in two families homes, it's like an anomaly. It's like something that sticks out like a pink zebra. But they're out there. I have a very close relative. He has had going on 30 years with his relationships. Two of them come together. They're about younger than me and stuff. Okay, well, they were able to make it work. Somebody didn't get the door. Someone wasn't laying up under another woman or laying up under another dude that they wife. Talk about how they find themselves, and I don't know how to keep myself, even though you sit around there and go into something like, I'm making this covenant. But I I'm going to change the rules, but I think I'm just going to go on and be cool. And I think my children are going to go on and be cool too. Not so. So we can look at these things, and we can see the fruit of what has happened by God's laws being broken. I'm talking about the Most High. Talk about Elyon. I'm not talking about some big universe and all that. I'm specifically talking about a person. That's the God I serve. Okay. And so but I certainly want a successful marriage, Prince Amir. The number one thing, out of all the things I have achieved, all the things that God has blessed me to see, blessed me to do, the people I've been able to meet, the friends and the supporters of my work, whether it's my YouTube channel, Find Ways to Win Fitzgerald Stevens, whether it's my day job, whether it's my financial accounts, whether it's all like that. That means nothing to me. The number one thing I have wanted in my life was to have a great marriage and have my own children on that marriage. That has eluded me, ladies and gentlemen. And I will say to you that I am not whole. I'm not whole without that. I've been wanting this since I was a teenager. I came from a broken home. I know what it does. Thank God my grandfather stepped in, when my father left, as I got older, I asked him about it, and he said some things, and I understood what he was saying. But nevertheless, without him being there, mom and my two brothers, my two younger brothers, and I, man, we left to the wolves. I remember being dragged home to home. I remember being looked down on by other people, relatives, because, we didn't have that covering. We didn't have that guidance system. If most of when a woman raises you, in particular with boys, she's going to raise them emotionally. They're going to be in their feelings. Can't control tempers, can't control can't be to stick to things. You need that bass in the voice. I remember when my dad was in the house. I don't ever remember a time my dad laying his hand on me for spanking and correction and stuff. He's raising 3 sons when he was there. I never remember. All the man had to do was speak. All he had to speak. And there was something about my father's voice. I'm older now, and it's still something about daddy's voice. My mother, she's gone now. She stayed there and fought with all she had. But I watched her struggle. And I watched her trying to hold 3 boys. And my God, man, she never quit. She did the best way she can. But I also remember holding her when she was crying. I also remember, sitting down with her when she was frustrated and she was in sheer anguish. I know what it did to her self-esteem and to her life and her outlook on herself that she never recovered from. Once dad left, she wasn't the same, and we saw that. We didn't understand it at 11, 10 and 1 year old. We didn't understand what was going on, but I could see it. And she kept that to her dying day. It was just something about that. It was something about being forsaken that did a number on her. I know what it did to me as a child. I had a terrible problem. With confidence. Now I could come on here and talk and complete sentences. I can talk with excitement. I can talk with things, but I still deal with that confidence issue. I still deal with that, those things that wasn't imparted them to be the way they should have by my father. Certain things that fathers can impart in their children, certain things that mothers can impart by your children. You need both. I still do go ahead and I still have to deal with it. I still get shy before I get ready to come on these streams. Even though I made dozens and dozens of them, I still get lack sometimes in my confidence in my ability. Although nothing, there's no reason for it. And I see effects on my other brothers, and I see effects on other men and women who have came through this. So I'm just looking at it. Yeah, Christianity is still I guess you were saying superstitious. Yeah, here's news for you. I agree with you. No, I agree with you. The Most High never endorsed Christianity, still doesn't. Okay, so we got agreement on things like that. Hey, guys, if you're going to write in the thing right here, you're going to write streams and stuff like that, stick it to the top subject that I'm talking about. Prince Amir is too nice to say that to you. No, Prince Amir, he'll let you come on there, but enough of this noise. We are talking about the subject of marriage. We are talking about the consequences, most of the consequences of what's happening. We're not following Elion's the Most High rules of that. We're seeing the destruction of our family on every single front, primarily because we don't have the family. We have fragments of it, not the whole. We're seeing people leapfrog us economically, socially, all kinds of ways, and we're losing ground. We're losing ground. We're dang near an endangered species, even though we're the majority of the world. And in economic power, mental health issues, prison retainment issues. If you want to get to the top and get your enemy off your neck, and I don't advocate loving everybody, should I say. You want to foster an environment for your next generation to grow, and your next kid, let them see dad honoring the covenant he made with mom. Let him see mom honoring the covenant he made with them. Let them come to a strong family unit that they can grow and foster and be taught ways that's going to insulate them against this world by examples. Let them see mom and dad working on something, as opposed to some mom getting a PhD and she just outgrown her husband and all that BS. Or dad saying, she cooked the rice wrong and I gotta leave, and there's another skirt over there, and I'm going to break up my family and go chase this skirt, only to be miserable and things like that, and destroy the confidence and relationship with his children. How many children go to bed, thinking like, why did they leave? How many men and women go to bed? Why did she leave? I wasn't good enough. Hell, we mostly hear this talk about with women. Why did he leave? Well, men get abandoned too. Hell, it happened to me. Years I sat up there, and I still fight that. I wasn't good enough. Oh, I know I didn't make enough money. Oh, I know I was a huge Alabama fan. Maybe I should have toned it down like that.
Hey, Fitzgerald, can I ask a question? And I'm gonna bring Alan. Alan has a question too. So, there's some comments in the comment section saying black men, and I don't want to turn this into a gender war, but it's saying black men don't value marriage. But then on the other hand, women initiate divorces at a much higher rate than men. Like
black men don't value marriage. So I just gave you two examples of two men that I personally know who are very close relatives who do value it. Stop with this stop with this specific thing. I value marriage, and I'm a black man. Stop painting by the example of one person who through willfully rebellion or stupidity, whatever, and put the hole in it. Stop that. The marriage is a specific union between a man and a woman. I mean, just because one man or one woman is not doing right, don't mean that a whole group is not. That doesn't fly anymore. It definitely is a slap in the face with personal responsibility. But black women initiate divorce more. Okay, I've heard that, but once again, I have to say, that is an individual choices. But my talk right now, gentlemen and ladies, is individually. What in the beezies are you doing? Listen to me as if I'm giving personal marriage counsel to you and personal relationship counsel to you and you alone, without you having to pay me for my consultation. What are you going to do? Is this the environment? Are these the consequences you want to see for your sons and daughters? Is this what you want to be for yourself? Do you want to die alone? Woman, man, Do you want to be are you pursuing ways to give you a higher rate of poverty, man, woman? Are you just pushing your children to the gangs and the jail cells and a system out there of white supremacy that is proven to be an enemy of black people all over the world? Are you pushing yourself to certain political ideologies that go against the word of the Most High, especially Democrats and Republicans? What do you want for yourself? What do you want for your life? This is about religion. This is about our survival. Do you understand? Without the family, that our race goes away. You understand that? Do you understand the laws here? We're going to be in poverty. We're going to be higher illiteracy rates, high disease rates, high incarceration rates. Look around right now and seeing what's going on. Is that what you want? Well, you can change this. You don't want to be married. You don't want to get married again. Okay, great. But don't violate God's law. Don't sit around there and defile another man's daughter by you lying with her without a covenant. By you talk about how many women you knock it down through adultery and fornication, think you doing something. You're a fool, and you will have to pay for that. This goes on both sides. This goes on both men and women. What about the children that's going to be born about that? Is that going to perpetuate? I know groups of single mothers. 3 generations of them. 3 generations. The cycle keeps repeating over and over and over again. Somebody has to stand and break this. Someone has to do, and someone has to speak out about this stuff.
Hey, Fitzgerald, we got Alan on. I was going to let Alan ask a question.
I want to hear another opinion besides myself.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. You kind of like, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm in the car. I just really wanted to say something real quick. I'm going through this divorce thing right now, and I really did want to be married and want a marriage, but it takes 2 people. And what I wanted to add was we don't live in a society that's structured for women to actually really want to be with a traditional man. And we live in a society basically where everything is the opposite of what traditional marriage and what traditional men and they even speak out against the patriarchy, which is basically male-led homes. So when you live in that kind of society, it's as much as I want to believe, and I believed everything that you believed, Fitzgerald, and maybe I'll find it again with somebody else, but I can't say that I necessarily am eager to run back out there and get married again and go through the things I'm going through in terms of the separation of not seeing your children the way you want to, having to divide everything else up and go through the pain and the problems with that. We live in a world where we have modern women who do not want marriage, and if you try to do anything that is biblical, even with church women, we have a lot of Christian feminists out there who think that they can be Christian and yet be feminist and modern and this and that, and they do everything the opposite of what is conducive to having a home, and yet you're supposed to run out and want to marry them, and so I completely understand where these guys are coming from when they say they don't want any part of it anymore. It makes a lot of sense to me, unfortunately. But I do get the values and the things what you're talking about. I share those values. I just can't say that after going through what I'm currently going through that I would recommend it to somebody to set yourself up. Sometimes it's just easier, to just have a girlfriend, live separately, and then when she don't want to see you no more, just leave.
I hear you. I mean, I hear you, and you brought up some very, very good points that I can't interject and say no, that's wrong, man. The way it's currently the way the marriage institution now is established. With the what I'm seeing, it has a horrible track record. I'm not really going out there to rush and look for other relationships and as far as that right now, not under these rules. But that's also a choice within myself too. If I do choose to live my life like that, well, there's certain ways I have to live my life, and there's certain ways I choose to live my life. Both sides. I don't want to use the divisive word arguments. There are points on both sides, Mr. Allen, and I agree both with what you're saying and what I have tried to humbly convey. But what's the solution? What you mean for a man that went through what you did, and a man that went through what I did? I mean, dude, that you were sitting over here down in Tampa, we can have a nice meal and we can talk about this subject through the wee hours of the morning. But what's the solution? Where do we go from here?
Well, people, I'm going to expand this beyond Black people. I'm saying modern Western people are all going through this to one extent or the other. And I'm saying that we have to go back to more traditional values when it comes to raising children and having families. We cannot have people who say they want to be independent and yet want to be married. You can't be independent and married. The goal is to be interdependent.
Hold on, let me interject real quick. Listen, so the lines are open, okay? Now, a lot of you guys are in the chat room. I'm going to be honest, specifically women, talking mess. Click on the link, call in, okay? Again, click on the link and call in. This is an open platform. You're more than welcome to call in, but we're not about the insult Brother Stevens and Brother Allen. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Click on the link, call in. Don't be emotional. Speak facts, and let's go. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And listen, I'm sorry if I'm offended anybody, but it's that's
no,
just
man. No. Stop apologizing for that, Alan. Stop apologizing for that, man. I mean, we grown. Hell, I certainly ain't here to entertain and babysit childlike adults. Right. Man. And you have to believe. You have to believe that what was truth is gonna exonerate and set free. Listen, guys. Listen. The black people all over this world. And forget where you are, forget who you are. Black melanated people all over this world, we are in trouble. Even though we have vast numbers. Right. What's the main thing? Why is the main thing we're in trouble?
Families. Well, yeah.
Families. About that strong family unit. How are you going to expect to unite? How are you going to do that? Or are we still out there having "we shall overcome" speeches?
Yeah, I mean,
almost 60 something years. Alan, man, I'm sorry about what happened to you. I can empathize. I would say similar to happened to me, but I didn't have the children. But man, I know what it is. The wake up. Your woman decided she don't want to be there with you anymore. I know what it is. When you sitting out there trying to feel like you're doing everything you can, and it's not good enough. Or she got her friends outside you, or here's one that these guys friends that's been my friend all the time, and all these group of guys. I know what that stuff is. I know what it does. But I did. But I know. Okay, there are some situations that you can't stay. Okay, but if we're looking in when the children are involved, okay, I'm trying to look and see where do we go forward. We talked about the problem. I said that statement for, okay, you told me about your problem. Now let's find a way to win. And I welcome male, female. How do we get back? How do we get our power back?
All right, so go ahead, Fitzgerald. Go ahead. We got a female on, but go ahead, Fitzgerald. Finish your statement.
Which is the nucleus of the family. How do we get back where we can get up? How do we do it?
Okay. Go ahead, Alicia.
Hi, Dynas. It's nice to finally talk with you. I've been compelled to jump in one of your shows, but this is a very important one. I really feel like I probably can Just add a insight. You can definitely drop it on the side if it doesn't apply to you or if you don't agree with it. Um, I I understand both of these men where they're coming from. They're frustrated with the state of everything, and I can feel that from their voices. I can hear that from them. Um, I am just from where you're getting the point of view from. I am a married woman. I've been married for the past 2 years. But before that, I was in a relationship for 15 years where the situation was uncertain. The man wasn't ready to settle down. I was the one kind of approaching it, and I kind of felt bad that I had to do that. So I figured that wasn't the right thing for me if I'm the one who has to approach that. But that's just some of my background of dealing with relationships and things like that. So my thing is, I do see this negative point of view with a lot of Black women with marriage and also with families, like having families and being that woman that will be at home, taking care of the children, things like that. They're kind of frowning upon that, and it's unfortunate because I'm going to be real. I'm not that type of woman. You know, I am a woman that you would consider a traditional woman who wants a man in the household who's willing to take care of things and do things. But also, I do my part and contribute and make sure the kids are fine, make sure the house is running fine, all those type of things. That's the type of woman I am. And I'm praying I could be a voice out there for many other sisters, also brothers, to know that we're out here. We do want families. We do want you guys to be the men that we know you can be. Um, and it's unfortunate you're meeting women who are not having that mindset. But we are out there. So I just don't want you to feel so negative about these things. It's just that, yes, it's the society that we're living in right now. It's very negative when it comes to families and things like that. It's not really focused on that. It's more about the individual, you know. It's not really focused on building the family and things like that. Especially with our people as African people of the diaspora or the continent. The continent doesn't have this issue, as we know, as much, but it's creeping there as well. My husband is from Nigeria, um, and he has told me some of the things that is weird. It's like they're going through similar type of transition because they're allowing this Western idea of marriage to creep in. Sorry for that. So they're allowing this whole idea of how the woman can work and be, independent from the man, and she can basically do whatever she wants to do without consorting her husband or having a family plan that it will agree with everybody. And that's the problem. There is this idea that women have, a lot of modern women have, that they can do whatever, they can talk to their men, whatever, and they have to just go with it. And I don't think that's fair. So I just want to put that out there. You do have sisters out here who want a traditional man, who want the man that, will take care of the household, and also the women who can, be in the household, taking care of the kids, making sure dinner is ready, things like that. That is necessary. That is our role as women. And unfortunately, we have fallen from that. That's all I'm going to say for now. I will let you guys take it from there.
Well, Alicia, thank you so much for your insight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't profess to know all the answers, and and I don't. It seems to be that there's a lot of there's some animosity not directed at the situation of what I'm saying, but directed at me, personal attacks within here. I'm not going to say that I'm surprised. I mean, so if I value this person's opinion and these people, some of these people's opinion, man, I would go away in tears with some of the venom that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the solution, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, what's the solution? You attack me, but you don't have the kuna, the ovaries, or the testes to attack the problem that is wrecking us. I'm in not wrecking Black people. No, certain systems and lack of strong family structures is definitely doing it. What do we do? Put your feelings in a jar. Get that out the way, You done got the things up. Some fool up here wrote it. He ain't figured out why his wife left me. I knew exactly what happened. I just didn't tell you because person ain't none of your damn business. I'm talking principles. So you want to go on with the personal attacks of any of the speakers on here? I assume you got all the stuff together. And if you got all the stuff together, then perhaps you should come on and enlighten us how you're doing it. But if you're here just to accentuate and add to the problem, and make yourself seem like you're so smart and all that, when you're not providing solutions, shut the hell up. And woman, we're talking about this channel, along with my channel. We support the structure of building up the Black family. That's the nucleus of Search for Uru. That's the nucleus of Find Ways to Win with Fitzgerald Stevens. How can we get out of these situations? Well, we call the situation out. Okay, now let's find a solution to move forward. Would you not agree that we have a problem? Would you not agree that we have a crisis among the Black people, in particular in the West, and even it has bled over to other areas, other regions of the world too, that needs solving? Would you agree with that? Okay, then let's come together and see what we can do. I don't know all the answers. I don't know all the things. All I can talk is what I as close to a 60-year-old man have picked up a couple nuggets of wisdom here. The Most High is able to lead me and guide me through many of my failures, and I have some victories and everything. But I have more experience. But I look around and I realize this is just not me. This is just not just for me. I'm trying to come aboard and with Prince, who had to talk me into this because I didn't want to do it. But someone saying, yeah, I wouldn't take advice from this man because he failed in marriage. Asshole.
Fitzgerald, I get.
Hold on for a second.
Okay.
If you haven't failed at anything, let us know. Just because someone is a failure doesn't mean you can get good advice. I've been around people who have failed around many things, yet I'm still able to learn. Okay, I want us to come together to see how we can move forward as a people and how we can win. And it's in my conclusion that if we don't have these proper, strong family units, we're not going to. I would like to hear from Mr. If I pronounce your name wrong, forgive me, Mr.
Darko. Mr. Darko, let me meet
you. Good afternoon. I mean, is Mr. Darko just the last O is silent?
Mr. Darko. Apologies for
no, it's all right.
Name.
No big deal. I think, to be honest with you, the best solution, especially for the men, is since the men are the ones that are at the knife's edge, is for them to discipline themselves, build themselves up, build their wealth, put stuff away, and then hopefully after the age of 35, go overseas and look for a wife.
Okay.
Go overseas. Find a family that has a nice young girl that's a virgin. Build and then marry into that family, and then keep them there, because as we all see the signs, America has seen its last days. You know what I'm saying? The West is going down. By the end of this century, everything is going to go back to the East, whether it's China, Russia, wherever. So now is the best time to look for greener pastures in other places so that there's a lifeboat. America should only be a place for you to come, get your money, build your wealth, but then when it's time to build families overseas. I mean, Dynas has already shown the blueprint. He's going to multiple countries in Africa where 60 to 70% of the women are virgins before they're married. Go there. East Asia. I mean, there's melanated women everywhere, all over the world. America is not the only place you can find a wife, and you can find a better wife that's been trained to be a wife since birth, that'll be able to help you build your family. I think that's the best solution for men, because going back and forth and just wasting time, to be honest with you, trying to change somebody and trying to change somebody is impossible. If a woman hasn't been trained to be a wife from age 7, after the age of 7, whatever indoctrination that woman has is what that woman is going to be like forever. There's no way you can change somebody's nature. So you have to find a woman that wants to be a wife, that has been trained to be a wife. You can't change a modern woman into a wife. It's impossible. So that's the only solution I see on the men's side.
1 second, Ken. Alicia, you want to respond to that from a woman's point of view?
Absolutely. Like what he's saying, he is saying a lot of truth. I would say there's a lot of truth what he's saying. I won't say I agree with everything, but mostly what he's saying is on point. You have to expand your horizon. I had to do that myself personally. I had to expand my horizon to find what I needed and what would be best for my life and what I'm trying to accomplish. The thing is, we don't really plan these things out. We don't really even think about what marriage really means anymore. What is that? What is marriage to you? Do you think it's just someone I fall in love with? Or is it like kind of like a partnership, a contract that you make? You know what I mean? So that's the thing. The way we look at marriage is one thing. The way society has trained us to look at marriage, especially Black women, especially women in general, you can expand that, but we're focusing on us. So the way they're training us is to be independent. We don't need a man. And I don't want to knock out our Black women here who are in America, because there are those Black women who are desiring to be married, who wants a husband, who wants a traditional life, who wants, a partnership where you can talk and communicate and plan things together and build things together. There are those women out there. I don't want us to cast a light negatively on the Black women here in America. Yes, there is a lot of wounded Black women here. There's a lot of Black women who have negative mindsets, and I've seen it in action. And I understand. I even have some in my family, and I have to talk to them and try to get them to see a better light. So, we're in working progress. I just want you guys to have forgiveness for our women, especially Black women in America. Please forgive them. And I forgive you guys too.
Alicia, forgive or tolerate?
I'm not. What I'm saying about forgiveness, I'm not saying to accept anybody. You should have, how can I say it? You have to make that decision for yourself. You know what I mean? When it comes to partnering with someone, to marry someone, you have to make that decision for yourself. If that person's going to mess with you and your what you're trying to plan and what you're trying to build, that's number one. I want to make sure I clarify that. But when I'm talking about forgiveness, there's this this negative energy that's been going back and forth between Black men and Black women. And I've been hearing it all on the internet. I've been hearing it everywhere. And I just don't want to feed into that. I'm not going to feed into that. What I'm trying to put out there is find the people who meet your goals, who are going to help you meet your goals. Find the people that you can plan with. It can be an African-American woman here in America. It can be someone in Africa. It can be someone in England. It could be someone in Asia, as the guy said before, Darko here. It could be anywhere. Just expand your horizons. Don't just focus on America alone. No, I won't say you should limit yourself. But what I'm saying, the main, go ahead.
Alex, so your husband, is he in America with you, or did you relocate to Nigeria?
I am back and forth from Nigeria to America for the last 2 years, almost 3 years, since 2019.
So he's
in Nigeria. He's in Lagos. He's a Yoruba man. And yes, we do go back and forth. He's mostly in Nigeria right now. Right now, I'm about to meet him back in Nigeria, and we're about to start doing some business things. So the thing is, this is what I'm saying. Find somebody who's on the same path as you. Make sure you ask the right questions, plan, make sure y'all are on the same understanding on what you want to do together, and agree from there. That's the problem. We're getting in relationships and we're not thinking about other aspects of it. We're just thinking, oh, she got a nice butt, or oh, he's fine. He's tall. He's this. Oh, he got money. It has to be deeper than even him having money. He has to have a plan, and you have to agree with that plan. And that's what's not happening. I'm going to just leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there and let that marinate.
You're absolutely right. And a lot of times we meet people's representatives and we don't get the real person. So you can go into a relationship thinking that you're actually on the same page. And then when you get into the thick of things,
time out.
You're not.
Time out. We meet people's representatives, not the real person. Sir, anytime that I think I have on here that Amir is going to give me, you go ahead and take it. Because you said a mouthful with that statement there. I mean, that hit me like a thunderbolt. No,
Oh,
Yeah.
I
That
like
was
to
my
thank
situation.
you, for that, Miss Alicia, Mr. Darko. I like to thank you guys,
yeah.
for this.
Eh,
Shouldn't it be that we come together to facilitate solutions to crisis to us? One mind, many minds are better than one. Man, so this is now we're finally at where after about an hour and 9 minutes. But thank you. But please expound upon that a little bit, Mr. Allen. Not for the audience, for me, because man, that hit me like a thunderbolt.
Well, what happens is you meet somebody and you go through scenarios with them and you try to be as planned as possible, and they seem like they're ready to do everything that you want and that you need, because they want the relationship, they want you, they want to be married or whatever it is they want. But as soon as some people get a morsel of wedding cake, they seem to kind of switch it up, and they revert back to their old selves, who they really are, which is if somebody presents themselves as more traditional, they will then revert back to what their girlfriends say, or what their what's a modern woman, or hyper focus on their career instead of focusing on anything having to do with you in the family. And you got to be careful about that, because the signs were there. I look back on it, all the signs were there, but I missed them. You know what I mean? And I completely didn't check the signs, because I was believing what the person was saying and not necessarily what it was that the fruit they were bearing. So that's where I'm with that.
Can I ask Alicia a question? Alicia, and this has somewhat been my observation, and correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of our sisters here in America, the expectations that they have from men in America, when they get a man in Africa, the expectations aren't the same. And what I mean by that, from income, number one, from income. And here in America, a man better be making this, he better have this, he better have that. But when it comes to the men in Africa, I mean, they ain't got none of that. I mean,
Depending on who your circles are, I'm gonna say this: who you travel around and who you are around has a lot to do with who sometimes you're gonna meet. So I would say your environment plays a lot in that, of what type of African man, or even here. There's a lot of broke ones, and there's some who's doing okay for themselves. They're working, things like that. In Africa, you want to meet somebody who is probably have at least on the same plan as you, but also can contribute in some fashion or way to your household. See, I only can go through my.
So there we go. And I'm sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off. So is your husband, is he able to contribute to your household?
absolutely. He has his own business. I'm not going to get with somebody who can't contribute to my household. It's just that you don't have to be making $1 million or $100,000 necessarily, but you got to be doing something proactive, and it's going to meet with my plan, and then we can go from there. Period. I'm not very complicated when it comes to that. I see where we're at as people. I know what we need to hear. I hope that everyone can come in agreement with it. It is that we need to plan better and execute the plan, put action in the plan, keep to our words, stop lying to ourselves, stop lying to other people about yourself. If you do that, then you will get better outcomes. That's just the reality. I'm not going to speak no lies. I'm going to speak the facts that I understand and know. So that's what my point is on that. It's just about being wise, asking the right questions. It's also, I know we don't go into this, but it's also a spiritual thing. You can weave out a lot of people if you're connected to your inner self and you go with your intuition. Because it's not about, oh, black, black, black. Yes, you want to get with a black person, but you want to make sure you're getting with the right type of black person, or the right type of African person, or whatever you want to call yourself. You want to make sure you're getting with that right type of person, but you have to have that inner understanding. You need to go within before making those decisions. That's what I had to do. I suggested to others to work on your spiritual aspect too, because that's going to make our relationships better with everybody. but especially in our relationships, in our families, we need to make sure we're connecting with that. And the problem is, because we have been indoctrinated by religions, a lot of different things. Also, there's society things that we are indoctrinated with women's rights, feminist movement, things like that, all combined together. It's a monster right now. It's a disaster. That's why you're seeing what you're seeing now. But when you become aware, okay, this is happening. What do I need to do? What steps do I need to take to adjust to this so I can make the right decisions? The thing is, we're not trying to agree with what they're doing. What we need to do is make what I think we're all talking about now, a lot of us, is make the future and the reality that we want to see. Does that mean going back to the motherland, going back to Africa, building things there, finding someone who's willing to do that with me? But I'm gonna get it going. I'm not gonna wait for nobody. But while I'm doing it, I know I'm gonna attract that person I need to come in to do what they need to do to help me get to where I need to get to, and I can help them get to what they need to get to. That's the mindset we need to really be focusing on. All this other bull crap that's going on. Black man is this, women do this, or whatever. Black women do this. Black women do that, black men do this, black men do that, whatever the bull crap that is being said, we need to stop feeding into it. And anybody who starts that up, you need to knock them down. I don't care if it's a black man doing it, if it's a black woman doing it, you need to stop them. We need to stop doing this.
Thank you so much for that.
Good point.
Yeah, very good point.
Good point.
Prince, I would like to extend an invitation out, with your permission, please.
Go ahead.
I've read the most incredible comment on this whole stream. It is written by one Mr. Larry Jones, and I would really like Mr. Jones to come in and contribute. His comment says, "My marriage is 50 years old, and it wasn't easy. But if you want to be seriously and build families in a nation, marriage can play a major role, for sure. Sir, we need to hear your wisdom. We need to hear just a portion of your wisdom that can help greatly contribute as far as this panel, because you've done it, and so I'm definitely personally extending an invitation to you just to come on a moment. Hope you're not shy, but we really need to hear some of the principles that you have been able to thrive and clearly you found a way to win. I mean, it's so. I'll even say it this: if you don't want to come on, which I hope you do, drop some nuggets, as far as in more, because that comment just stood out to me. I don't have that experience. I didn't have that, and many people who are even successfully married, they probably don't have nearly that amount of experience, and what do you do to achieve those results? So I would love to hear what you have to say. I mean, I really would.
Okay. Do your 1980. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hello. Greetings to everybody.
Greetings.
I just wanted to say that I don't live in America, but I see a lot what's going on YouTube about men bashing black women and women bashing black men. And it really hurts me very deeply because I come from an island where, you know what it is? America is like the platform for the whole world. So what happens in America, it is like a ripple effect. I don't know what's happening, but all around the world, when people watch what's happening in America, they try to do the same thing. So if you see that in America, the black men are talking crap about black women, it's going to happen in Europe. It's going to happen on the islands. So it is not a good thing that America is like portraying to the rest of the world that black women are crap. Black women, one thing I can say about the good ones, because we have a lot of black women that are toxic, but we have a lot of good black women. And if you see that how they stick with some of the men that are treating them like crap, it is very sickening and it is very sad. Yeah, because there are a lot of black women, they get up every morning, go to work, provide for the children, provide for their man. They are the backbone for their man. And even then, there are still men talking as if like all the black women on the earth are crap. It really needs to stop. Yeah.
I
One
don't
thing
think.
I can.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I don't think I was saying that all black women are crap or anything like that. I don't think anybody on the panel was really trying to say that. I think what we're saying is that finally there are outlets for black men to actually talk about the problems we have with black men, because society has always had a problem with black men, and are very quick to point out whatever issues they have with us, whether that be black women or people from any other race of people. But very rarely do you hear black women be held accountable. And now it seems that you have platforms in which you even discuss the issues. I think a lot of black women have become very sensitive towards even hearing that something that they're doing might be wrong. And I don't know, that's what I think.
Okay, I did not say that people on the panel were talking crap, but I'm talking about some of these YouTube, how can I say it? YouTube moguls that are, instead of throwing things in people's face, like throwing, bad things or toxic things that black women do, instead of throwing it in their face, because you're not helping them like that. Instead of throwing it in their face, teach them, learn them, talk to them in a sensitive and in a good way, like
Sister, that's been tried, and it doesn't work. So men need to have a platform where they can tell their truth and share their experience, and that's what a lot of these platforms are doing. We're not here
some
to
of the platforms they're not trying to teach them anything. Some of the platforms, I'm not talking about your platform.
They are teaching them. They're telling like, this is what men want. This is our experience. That's what they're doing.
I don't agree on that, because you have one platform. I don't want to mention names.
No, say the name. No. Say the name. We don't talk in code. Say the name.
Okay. Yeah, but okay. Anyhow, anyway, what's his name? Now I forgot his name also. It is an older man. What's his name again? Because I tried to. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so do you tell me exactly what do you disagree with about Kevin Samuels?
Now, the way that he talks to the woman, I personally think, if you are a woman and if you really want to work on yourself, try to go within, like the other lady said, try to get spiritual, try to work on yourself without involving other people or involving men that are going to talk to you like that. Because I can tell you one thing. I was adopted at a very young age. I've been brought up by a white woman. But to teach me certain things, she never threw things in my face, because it does not work. It's reverse psychology what you're trying to do, but it's not going to work. It's going to hurt a person more. And maybe that person's going to get more hate towards men because you're talking like that, like as if she's crap. Like if she's trash, by loving a person, you will teach them more than if you're gonna throw things in their face.
Okay,
because it does not only happen with black women. There are also white women, that are toxic. There are also white men that are toxic. But why are the white men not talking like that?
Are you kidding me?
About their women.
They are. They are. But go down.
YouTube shows. No, the reason why I brought up, Kevin Samuels, I knew who she was referring to. And I'm just gonna explain to you why I like Kevin Samuels in a lot of ways. I don't agree with everything he says, and I wouldn't go about his message the way he would. But exactly. I'm beginning to realize some people, some women actually need to hear it being said the way he says it. And the reason being is that some people have way too much hubris. They have a puffed up ego and inflated opinion about themselves and feel entitled and feel like they deserve a certain type of man, and that they can talk bad about men making less than $100,000 a year. But you know, and so what Kevin does is he kind of deflates their ego, tells them exactly what it is that you are qualified for, and pointing out things that, you know, well, you may think yourself of being this, but the men that you want something
Are not
else.
looking for that. Yeah, that's it. Because your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you're not sending out positive energy, you're not gonna attract that.
Right. Now I don't agree with everything
Hold
Steve says all the
hold
time.
on, dude. I think you're completely missing the point. All right. If a woman or women in general, and I brought this up with when the sister was on the line, women in general say that we want men who make 100K and up, but only
Yeah.
5% of men, or whatever the number is, make that
Yeah.
amount.
Yeah.
Someone has to bring them back down to reality and say,
To
look,
reality, yeah, that's true. I agree.
right. So that's what Kevin Samuel does. That's what Kevin Samuel does.
Let me
Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, let me just say this. I mean, the Kevin Samuel situation, all that stuff, that's really all a mute point. The men, to be honest with you, the men are the problems, because you know she was saying that white men like worship their women, like the white men don't complain because the white men will just kill you. The white men, they get rid of their women. If the women get to the point where they can't do it, they just take them to the forest and come back alone. You know what I'm saying? Every single day, every single week.
No.
Everybody, so trying to compare like black men, especially in America, to white men, and saying that white men are better. If you feel a white man is better, please go find yourself the whitest of the white.
No.
Don't. And also,
I did not say that white men are better. I just said that they are not talking so much trash about white women.
They don't talk. They just kill you. They do.
Yeah.
Black men talk. Black men talk and they complain and they cry and they do whatever. White men, they just take you out into the forest and they come back by themselves. That's what they do. So
but we should not act as if black men don't do those type of things, or they do not get.
Please show me 10 instances of doing it. Because if black men did what white men do, black women would never even have the gall to open up their mouths the way they do. Black women would not act the way they act now if black men were doing what white men did. So the last thing you want is for black men to start doing what white men do. Okay? And then also, I
don't agree fully on that, but okay, that's your perception of what.
Yeah, I don't know about coming back alone from the forest, but I will say that I will say that
white men kill their white
right.
women. So,
but white women know that they have men who have power over them, and I'll give you the best example. The best example is Tommy Lauren was out there talking the same kind of stuff that a lot of these black women were talking about, and they shut her down. She no longer really has a career or standing in any sort of conservative circle. That is the power that white men have over their women. They shut that stuff down. You're not going to just talk about them. Not any men of any consequence. Whereas it doesn't matter how much money a black man makes. You know, we get talked about. So,
and I just like to say, like everything that is going on, quite frankly, is black men's fault, because we allow the women to do what they do. I always give advice to any male out there: build yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Discipline yourself so that you're not having a bunch of babies out there or getting trapped up. And then when you're ready, find yourself a virgin. Do not marry a woman that's not a virgin. I mean, you have your fun, sow your wild oats, but when it's time to find a wife, do not plant your seed in perverted soil. You must always plant your seed in virgin soil, because if you go out there and you find a modern woman that has all these ideas and is not a virgin, you're gonna have problems. So, like I said, the world is yours. Like conquer the world. Go out there. When you're ready, you can find your wife and build your clan and build your family. Marriage is a business. It's a business. It's not anything else other than a business. The two families come together to pull their resources so they can build their legacy for the future. So think of it as a business. If you're going to go into a partnership with somebody that you feel that is not going to be able to pull their weight or be able to help you build, then stop looking at women in terms of lust. and look at women in terms of how is this woman going to make me money and going to improve my life for the future, so that my lineage is able to going to be in a better position than I put them. A lot of men were never taught that, you know what I mean, coming up, and a lot of women were not raised to be wives. Find a woman that's raised to be a wife, and then build yourself up so that when you come together, you can build for the future. And that is really just that simple. The men are the ones that choose wives. Women choose who they sleep with, but men choose who they compete with. So that's my only advice that I had to with the men. The women are not the problem. Women are going to be women. All women are the same in the entire universe. Animals, they all behave the same. Men are the numerators, women are the common denominators. Anywhere you go, women are going to act and behave the same. But as a man, you have to build yourself up so that none of these problems are able to happen to you. That's it.
All right. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Brandon. You're connected. You're on the metro right now. You're on your metro, but go ahead.
I'm on my metro. Can you? Oh, hold on. You know what? I know what it is.
Actually, you sound good. Go ahead, Brandon. You sound good. You sound good, Brandon. Go ahead.
All right. So, like Mr. Darku, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think your advice is a little bit. It's not really based on reality, because where you gonna find a virgin at these days? Chicks is having sex when they 14, 10, 12 years old. I don't know where you grew up, but where I'm from the hood.
No, I understand it. That's why you got to go. That's why you have to go overseas, because in Africa and parts of Asia, over 50 to 60, sometimes 70%, especially in the Muslim cultures, 70% of women are virgins. They don't have sex until they're married. So
70% of women are gonna say they're virgins, but even in Africa, most of those girls have had sex when they were 14.
Around the world. Not everywhere is America. I mean,
you
should know that.
Bro, I've been to Africa too. I've sat in rooms full of African women, and they'll even tell you, even if they haven't had penetration, they've even engaged in little lesbian stuff with their friends, all that. Women are having sex at young ages, period, all over the world. Now, if they choose to tell you they have done that, which most women won't because they lie a lot, then it's whatever. But my whole point I'm going to make is this. All men have to do is stop being simps, stop giving women exclusivity who don't deserve it, right? Because in my personal experience, when I had a lot of women were begging to do what I wanted them to do to get that exclusive relationship. You feel me? Like, I've been married 14 years. When I met my wife, I literally had to break up with a few women before we made it official. Because when I was dating her, I had like 3 or 4 women at that time. And once she showed me what I needed to see, that's when I was like, all right, cool. You know, I'm down to let these other chicks go to be with you. But when I got with her, I made it clear my situation. Look, I got people I date, people I see, whatever. Right? The problem we have in this society is men and women they don't have time, right? So they're overworked, underpaid. A lot of them have kids outside of marriage, so they're strained when it comes to time. So when they meet one person that they like, they pretty much got to roll with that person, because it's like, yo, I can't go out on 3 different dates, you know, throughout the week, because I got to go to work and I got to sleep, and then I got to spend time with my kids I had outside of marriage. So they don't have time to entertain 4, 5, 6 different women at one time. That's why you see the dudes who have choice, like, man, I always compare stuff to like pimps and stuff like that, because my uncles and stuff was pimps. My uncles had women who would sell their bodies for them, give them money, go cook me something to eat, go do this, go do that, go do this. And those women would do it. Why? Because they all were fighting, or jockeying, Dinah's favorite word, for the affection of that pimp. So they would do whatever he wanted them to do. And some of these dudes actually married women who was their hoe, right? And they've been married for 30, 40 years. Why? Because women only understand one thing. I want something because other women want it. And once I get it, I don't want any other woman to take it from me. That's how women look at everything. That's their nature. They're very territorial. and they want to take something and possess it. So if you explore your options, you will find the right woman, whether she's a virgin or not, because she's gonna go above and beyond to get you. And once she get you, she's gonna want to keep you as long as you keep yourself up. As long as you remain something that other women want, she's gonna work hard to keep you, unless she gets to the point where she tears you down in her mind and she feels like I don't need you, which is very rare if a man, keeps up with himself. What do men do? We get with women, we start simping, we start letting ourselves go. You know what I'm saying? Even if I see a girl with ass or something in the streets, I'll be like, dang, she got a big old booty. I want my wife to see that I'm looking at somebody, because I don't want her to say, oh, I got that dude wrapped around my finger, he's perfectly trained. No, I want her to be like, dude, the minute I stop loving on this dude, the minute I stop doing what I'm going to do, this dude he might spread out and go get with old Becky over there or whatever, right? And the same should go for women. Keep yourself in a state where you something that somebody won't, and you'll always be wanted. And the man, if he love you like he say he do, he'll always work to keep you. But we get to the point where we start getting on the McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? The women putting all the shit in their head, got their edges ripped out. You take off the front lace weave, your head looking like you playing a game of checkers on your shit. You got the edge control can't even work no more because you don't got no edges. And then they wonder, you overweight, you got cellulite, you're not keeping the yoni fresh, you ain't keeping it tight, you feel me? And then they wonder, he cheated on me. That to me is everything with longevity and everything like that. It ain't about virgins. It ain't about only plants and seed here. Because if you go to most marriages, man, there are women who were straight up thoughts when they were young, and they are now the best wives you could ever want to have because they've explored their options. And they know exactly what they want. They kind of been through different things. Experience is the best teacher for some people. And women, if you get them too young, you're going to end up getting dropped because she like, yo, I haven't even explored anything. I had a woman who told me, I didn't start cheating on my husband till we got married. She said, I didn't start dating until I got married because I got married so young. I never got to go out and play the field. So when my husband worked all the time, men would give me attention at the gym and stuff. And I started entertaining dudes, going on little dates with them and stuff because she liked the feeling because she had never done it. So when you go out and get you a virgin and she 19, you're just setting yourself up for failure in the long run if you live in somewhere like America where women can do whatever they want to do. Now, if you're in a country where you could chop a whole head off if she cheat on you, that's another story. But based on the way the world is going, you just got to keep yourself good. If you take care of yourself, you always going to be something somebody won't, including your mate. And that goes for both sides. And that's for me after 14 years of marriage. I'm a fat dude, but I keep my, you know what I'm saying? Like I go work out. I'm smart. I'm funny. I'm charismatic. I got all these qualities that make my wife like, yo, I love this dude. This dude is so cool. And my wife tells me, if I get with someone other than you, she like, I don't think there's anybody who could keep my attention the way you do for a long time, for this long. And then I'm going to be mad and I'm going to be bored and I'm going to just be acting like a bitch. And she's right, because I set a standard that's so high, not just based on money, but based on all the qualities that one can exhibit, that it would be very hard for another dude to match that. You think Pookie, who can't even string a sentence together, is going to be able to keep my wife engaged in a conversation? Hell no. She's too intelligent. Now, if you got your little hood rat, she like Pookie because she dumb and he dumber than her. So she like, cool, finally somebody dumber than me. But you just got to work on yourself. I see women in the audience, most men this and that, but most black men are broken. Listen, bro, nobody's broken. If you walk around talking about somebody broken, that means you're broken, because it takes one to know one. You feel me? Maybe this person just ain't broken and you broken. So when you look at somebody who ain't broken, you think that person is broken. Some women look at a man who don't wash dishes. Oh, he don't know. He wasn't raised right. No, he was raised right because his mama did the dishes and he didn't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? So we should stop trying to diagnose each other, diagnose ourselves. And when you do that, then you can make the personal adjustments to where you could pretty much be with anybody and you'll be good because you know yourself, not trying to force somebody to be different or trying to diagnose someone else, because He broken as hell, but that don't stop you from letting him stick his dick in you because you got 3 kids and no husband. So let's not play that game.
All right, cool. Let me bring hold on, Al Campbell. Go ahead, Fitzgerald.
I thought you was waiting for Mr. Campbell.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Campbell. I'll meet you up, Mr. Campbell.
Brother Dinus, how you doing? I watch your show a lot. I enjoy it. Brother Brandon, you just hit the nail on the head. There's the ideal, and then there's the reality of things. And so one of the things that I actually listened to with one of the sisters who spoke earlier, I don't know who it was, but she spoke about the spiritual component. And I kind of had to make an adjustment and come off of the line and come back on. So I didn't get to hear what she said, but that's exactly what I was thinking while I was listening to like a lot of the dialogue going on. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you got brothers who have expectations for sisters, sisters who have expectations for brothers. And a lot of those expectations are valid. A lot of them are invalid. A lot of the expectations that we have of each other are rooted in like Eurocentric Western ideas of what success looks like, what happy marriages look like, so on and so forth, and how to meet that criteria based on the westernized lens of things. But then I start to think to myself, like, there's what I want from the woman, there's what the woman wants from me, but then what does the creator want for us? And oftentimes we don't know what that actually looks like, because oftentimes we're not bringing I don't want to say God, you know what I'm saying, but for one of a better word, you know what I'm saying, God, and I would say Olodumare, you know what I'm saying, as far as the tradition that I follow and practice. So my wife and I, we actually sat down on the mat. We went to Ifa, we spoke to the Babalao, we got spiritual consultation that serves as the undergirding of how we're supposed to actually navigate our marriage. And what it looks like for us is not going to necessarily look the same for the next couple. But one thing I can say is that with true African-centered spiritual consultation, a lot of the criteria, there's the fundamental criteria of like meeting the basic fundamental needs, but then there's a whole other component to this thing that you're really not going to hear in the narrative, especially based here in the West, because the whole idea of God only stops at Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, or whatever. It only stops there. But as soon as you start talking about anything taking a real African-centered approach, you know what I'm saying, to how you approach marriages, nobody wants to deal with that part, because it takes a whole nother level of discipline to even fuck with that part, to even deal with that part. Because now you got to deal with the fact that you're not just bringing your families together as far as a husband and wife, you're actually bringing ancestors into the equation. You come to find out that you're not really dealing with just getting married for the sake of being married, for so on like picket fence in the suburbs or whatever, that you actually came here to fulfill an ancestral promise. And now you have to actually dig into your own ancestry. You have to dig into your own destiny. It's so many. You have to dig into the taboos of your marriage, the protocols of your marriage, and it's not going to look the same from relationship to relationship. But overall, if we as people who proclaim to be, and this is for those who proclaim to be, more so African centered, we know a lot of people ain't on that, ain't there here. But that's actually the problem. That's one of the major problems right there, is that we actually have lost our culture. We have lost our way, to such a great degree, to where the idea of actually saying, what does Olodumare, what does Inyame, or any of the, what does God, if you will, what does the creator have to say about our affair and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves as a family, and then how does that fold over into our contribution into the community? Of course, that's going to include meeting the basic fundamental needs, but it seems like somewhere on the line we have a tendency to stop there, and then within that we kind of like just navigate what does the woman personally want for herself and what the man personally wants for himself. But a lot of times that shit ain't got nothing to do with what the hell God want for either one of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that we have a tendency to not explore. But I'm gonna just kind of pull back and let that be it.
Okay. Go ahead, Fitzgerald. If not,
No,
Asada, you go ahead.
I want to ask. I want to refer back to what the last caller just said, sir. It sounds like you're making some reference to Telegani.
To who?
To Telegani, that how the woman retains the essence of every man she's been with, therefore could have some effects upon, as far as with influence and behavior, personality. Also, the same with the man in the aspect of a spiritual bonding. Be careful who you take it in there. It's not necessarily a proven science, but I do think I do like the fact that how you had touched upon the spiritual aspect, and for us to think that we can leave the spiritual aspect out, that can't be tracked under a microscope sometime, would be very foolish for us for us not to examine that. And then what are we allowing, when we merge or have sexual relationships with everybody, we actually think we're going to come out of that spot free without any type of bonding, any whether
Exactly.
bad bonding. I think not. For those who don't want to hear that and don't want to say it like that, you're sadly mistaken. For those who like want to think that you could just lie with anyone, and male and female, and there's not going to be some spiritual ramifications as far as that, you're being very, very mistaken, and actually dangerously naive.
Right.
So
Right.
as you said that, that's what I was thinking. So this man sounds like he's touched upon Telegani, and he's definitely touching upon the spiritual aspect. I know some of the people on here, and I'm not don't want to hear about the spiritual aspect and the God component and all that. I know that that's your opinion. That's your opinion, and whatever, man. I mean, but I don't care about your opinion. We care about facts. There is something vitally wrong the way it's currently being done now. There is something vitally wrong with cycles that we see with our relationships here, and it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be healed.
Right. No, you're absolutely correct. And that's pretty much exactly what I'm touching on is the foundation upon which we base our success on. It has some components that are valid, but then the valid components are based on what would be actually considered invalid, or basically not in alignment with um, our ancestral culture, our religion, the way that we look at the world through the eyes of our gods, the eyes of our divinities and our ancestors. And there's a whole nother way of looking at things that may include some of the things that we see in the European model, but it's not the European model. And that's what we have to actually make that separation and flesh it out in such a way where we can actually divide what is needed from what's not needed. You know what I'm saying? So you may have through the proper spiritual consultation, you may have a husband and wife that get together, and the wife may actually be one who makes more, or the husband makes more, or there may be a certain way in which you're told that this is how you're supposed to team up in accordance to the destiny that you all walk with as a couple. Now, if you actually are not with that person, you get with somebody else, that destiny is going to look different. But if you don't know that, if you don't understand that, because you're basing your relationship solely on what you want and not what the creator wants for you. You know what I'm saying? Man proposes, but God disposes. So here it is. You can find yourself going from one relationship having the same expectation in the next relationship based on like a flat line model, or like a flat model where this is the thing, this is how it's supposed to look like every single time, and then you do damage in the process, because when things don't go your way, what happens? Oh, we broke up and blah blah blah, and it just becomes an ongoing cycle. Now, if you multiply that into the population of our people, yeah, like you said, you're gonna run into problems, and in the process of going through these various relationships and so on and so forth, you could pick up all types of garbage. You know, you're interfacing with people's ancestral lineage when you're sleeping with this person and that person. Some people think they're supposed to get together because their heart is speaking and so on and so forth. But when they actually go get the spiritual consultation, you'll find out that they're not supposed to be together, and then they'll turn around and they'll push for it. And then after it's all said and done, and it falls apart, they'd be like, why didn't I listen? This is for those who are actually in certain traditions that deal with that. But we ain't even on that level when it comes to our people here, because it's still kind of like the same cookie cutter approach that we're constantly dealing with. But yeah, that's kind of like in the ballpark of what I'm talking about, Elder.
Yeah. All right, Sada, go ahead, Sada.
Hi, this is one of my favorite topics, but I think in a Western society, we live in one of the most sexually charged societies I've ever heard of. Sex is really, it's just so mainstream here. It's kind of disturbing. So what we have with Black people in marriages, for one, we're not groomed as younger people to think in the terms of marriage. And a lot of times, sisters and even brothers, we don't have the discipline to put off sex to actually learn about a person. So a lot of times you find people have children with people they really don't know well. So that in turn brings about all the baby mamas and baby daddies. You didn't wait long enough to find out if you actually were a match with this person before you gave it up and had a baby. That's what most of us are dealing with. Or we end up getting pregnant after a night at the club or something like that. So it would be beneficial for sisters to abstain from sex until you find out that the man really wants you. Because as I heard one of the brothers speaking a little bit earlier, he's like, some of them you can sow your wild oats. Sisters, do not be one of those chicks that has everybody has been able to run through. Because by the time you get to a man that you want, I mean, he may not desire that. So we should have discipline when it comes to that, and actually learn the person to find out if they're a fit for you. And that's something that we lack in our community.
All right, Great African, go. Oh, Great African dropped off. Never mind. Go ahead, Fitzgerald.
Oh no, I was gonna thank the lady for her wise compliment. I mean, her wise comment. That was fantastic. I love unapologetic truth speakers. I mean, there's people who just come at and they're trying to make differences. So I really, really respect that trait out of people. And we seem to have a panel here that's doing that. But as far as with that, I mean, we really need to peel the onion back on this. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not a personal attack on any one body. You got to last before you can heal the wound. This is not designed to attack who's and whatnot, attack men, attack women. We want to design this to attack the problem. But I'm of the persuasion right now that we have to talk about these festering things and get this venom out. Okay, now that we got a lot of it out on this stream right now. Okay, black men ain't doing this, women ain't doing this, no hymen, no diamond, no. Okay, I get it. Okay, now this is the part I'm really enjoying right now, getting good, solution oriented conversations to how we can move forward. Sir, if you could go ahead and still get back on. I mean, get on. I would love to hear what you have. I'm talking to a gentleman holding the child. So I would love to hear what you have to say. But so far, kudos to everyone who has commented. Whether your comment is out of pocket or whether it's not, and definitely kudos to the speakers the people who came in here to get insight. I mean, I think we all kind of want the same things. We all want healthy families. I truly in my heart believe that. And let's work ways to get there.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
You go ahead.
Okay, cool. So basically I just wanted to chime in quickly. As you can see, I got my hands full. But so I've been married 24 years, going on 25 years. Um, what I'll say is um, to make things work. Okay, so personally, I grew up in a polygamous household and moved to the United States. And then, but what I realized, up until 25, I was part of the whole culture, player culture, how everybody else grew up. But at some point, I made a decision to basically, get in a committed relationship and get married, and then be disciplined about it. So it really comes down to discipline. You cannot claim African if you're going to be an African in terms of marriage and be a polygamist, then that's what you got to be and be out front about it. But if you're going to commit to one person and be in a monogamous relationship, you just have to commit to it. It all comes down to discipline. Doesn't mean that it's always going to be perfect, but it really comes down to discipline. So our culture here is a loose culture where men and women are bred to, conquer as many women as they can, and it's cool, and you're a square. I got friends, I've married 25 years, 5 kids, that think I'm a square because I got one wife and I'm not out at the club. I don't want to be the old dude at the club, you know. So at the end, you just got to figure out what's important to you. If you're going to be straight up, be a man and say, hey, you know what? I'm a polygamist. If you want to deal with me, this is how it is. Be a polygamist. You have to be either a stick or a rope. But we do live in a society that's based on European cultures and mores, and laws are set up based on that. So there are consequences, economic consequences, for deviating from those, from those laws. That's what, everything's based on the European. So if you're in Rome, do as the Romans do, Okay. So at the end of the day, that's basically what I had to say. It's about discipline. Um, the man that can control his is a man that can control every other aspect of his life. If you can't control that, and we know this, and if you want to get biblical, we know the downfall of every great man is being a woman. You can go way back into the biblical times if that's what you believe in. Samson, David, the Prince of Peace. So it's like a weakness. So something that we as a society have to be disciplined about if we want to have strong communities, because children need stable environment to be able to reach their full potential. So if you're going to be bringing children into the world, you got to commit. But don't go and have kids by a bunch of different women and then wonder why things are dysfunctional. Okay, so it's a challenge having children, even being present. There's all type of things that they get into, and so we cannot move forward if we don't figure that piece out. And it comes to understanding that, hey, anybody can go out and have a bunch of women. That's nothing, but it takes a stronger person, to just focus on building yourself up, business wise, educationally, financially. That's what matters. So anyway, I just wanted to check in quickly I'm babysitting today. So that's it.
All right, Two Niger, go ahead, Two Niger. You'll close out. Well, go ahead, Two Niger, then we'll close out with Fitzgerald. Go ahead, Two Niger.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And Fitzgerald, it's been a while, and including the Great African. I think regarding this conversation, I think what I find is that especially for the diaspora, because I think this doesn't affect to apply to Africans as much, is that what is going on there is that there is a kind of misalignment between what the men expect and what the women are doing. And the problem there is because the system that they are living in is implemented by another group. Every society, like in Nigeria, you don't have that kind of massive misalignment. You don't see that in Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan or in Russia. You see that in America because the people that are controlling the system is misaligned. It is true, someone said earlier on that the Europeans have similar problems, but when they talk about this thing, they talk about it from the point of view of the trends and analysis or whether it's good for society, stuff like that. Because they know they are in control of it. They are the one that implemented it in the first place. But because we are out of, there's this misalignment that we are not implementing, then you get this pointing finger. They say the woman is the one that betrayed the man. Say the other one says the man. I don't believe it's any of their fault, really. It's a consequence of the history. After all, I've heard of stories where African Americans are talking about how they were bred. You know, they don't even have to, they can't even choose their spouse, for crying out loud. So there's a form of that going on now to an extent where the norms of society, they can't define it. It is defined by the people that are in power. Because if, let's say, African Americans were in charge of the country, the men were in charge of the country, you won't be hearing all this because they will know they are the ones that put the systems in place. You see what I mean? So I hope people see from that point of view so that will, let deaden this kind of argument that they keep having back and forth, because they have to understand what is playing out right now. And it's not their fault necessarily. It's just something that if you want to put blame, you will say, okay, maybe you should take control of your communities a bit more. That's where you are going to put blame, because the Jews have similar problems, but they generally are in control of their communities. You see other communities, the Asians, they are in America too. They don't have that problem because they take care of their communities. So I would say, African Americans, that is where they need to wake up from that point of view, because there are other communities there that don't control the country, and they manage to keep their communities intact. And so I think that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
All right, Fitzgerald, go ahead and close us out. Go ahead.
Question, everyone. Who benefits from the destruction of our families?
Not us.
Okay, well, what the old adage is saying, follow the money. You want to, find the source. Who's not benefiting from the destruction of our families?
Definitely us.
We're not. So let's get back, to what made us great as a people, despite the colonizations and the colonizers, the slavery, the things we seem to be through all of that horrible things that happened to us. We seem to was able to, for the most part, keep our families intact. I'm not talking about, American cattle slavery where they would strip people and literally destroy families by force. I'm not talking about that, but that was quite an exception. We didn't have a choice in that. But why is the black family up under such attack? Could it be that we have enemies who are using this because they know the family is the way for us out of this malaise? The family is the way back to our power base. Could it be once we get the family intact and the communities back intact, we will be a great people and powerful nation like we were all over the earth once again? I mean, I want to see that happen. No, I want to see that happen. But I just know we need to get there. I don't know the exact concept how to do it. That's why I'm a listener of this audience and picking up opinions and views and mindset movements from the various panels guests who are contributing. I'd like to thank you very much. And even people, some people who have contributed in the streams. But I just want us to win, man. I mean, and as far as with me, I see no other way out of this, not unless we get our family family back to get our power? I don't know. And what do I mean by power? Power of our own destiny. So we're not being chewed to and fro, where our children are not being, school to jail pipeline and all that kind of stuff. And where we don't have such wage inequality, and where we don't have such division, and and certainly where we're not just attacking each other. The black man is doing this, and the black woman is doing this.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? What do the American community need to stop the school to jail pipeline?
May not want to hear the answer.
I definitely want to learn that.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is. Pull our children out of these schools. Start return to a home-based school system. Pull our children out of these schools.
I agree with that.
I mean, right the heck now. These schools are nothing but an enemy to us. The parent teacher board. I mean, if I had a daughter, and man, I would be incensed. But for y'all out there, son or a daughter, but especially a daughter, if I had someone in school that my child can go out there and have an abortion without me knowing about it, because of a school administrator coming. If I'm in there and my child is forced to listen to a doctrine that I'm totally opposed against, transgenderism and all the many other things that goes totally against my creed and everything is like that. And if I go ahead and say something, I'm considered hate speech, and I'm considering things like that. My little boy won't wake up one day and say, "Hey, Daddy, I want to wear a dress." Well, no, hell, you don't. Not with me, you don't. But I heard that. So what I'm saying, pull them out of these government schools. Pull them out. We had our own schools before, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, and that's one of the things that's been vehemently attacked. Like the Native Americans, they didn't quite do it so blatantly to us. Yes, they did. But, I saw pictures of that where they would shut down their cultures and traditions and put them in their government schools. And you know what those government schools is designed to do? To turn their culture off, to turn them into like what we deem as benefit to accept our side. Who said we got to accept the ways and the ways and schemes of an enemy that's opposed to our family unit?
Does the community have the school? Does the community have the amount of school to absorb those children?
No. Notice I didn't say the community.
Okay.
Parents.
Yeah. The first education thing is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I was just adding that I think you're speaking in terms of parents. And I'll
That's
agree
exactly
with you.
what I'm speaking in terms. I'm speaking in terms of individual parents. I'm speaking in terms of individual parents, and I believe that community can take a blaze. Now, I'm glad I haven't seen the comment yet. Maybe it's because my phone is black. The black screen. I'm glad I haven't seen the comment. Who got time for this? And who got time to homeschool children? I got to work. Well, hell, why'd you have the children?
Right. You shouldn't have had them. And
Why did you do that? No.
Comment on that real quick so Dynas can go. But I've been married for a very long time, and my husband and I have 7 children. All of them are mine.
Take your time.
Definitely.
Yeah, I didn't go into my marriage as a baby mama. When I got married, I could run a whole household because I was taught that. But I noticed the differences in my children. I homeschooled everyone, but my younger 2 were homeschooled longer. They have never been to public school, period. But I noticed the difference in personalities versus the ones who had some public school exposure. Public school is just that, it's public. Everybody belongs there. So as a parent, there are some people and some types of people you do not want your children associating with. There is nothing wrong with judging the actions of other people to protect your children. It's nothing. And see, we live in a society right now where people say, "Oh, I'm not judging." Well, I judge. Because there's some people I don't want my children around. I judge because I need to know whether or not my children can come to your house or not. I need to know whether you can come to mine.
That's right.
And in doing that, and people say, "Oh, well, it's not a lot of virgins." All my daughters left my house as virgins because I was a stay-at-home mother. My husband worked, and that was at the top of my list, virgin daughters.
So if they went somewhere with friends, I was the one who took them or the dad. They were not allowed to go alone. Because sometimes children get a little sneaky. They want to do what their friends are doing. Up, you're not going to do it while I'm watching. So I mean, being a parent like that, it takes a lot of time. You have to watch almost everything they do, and I didn't mind doing that, so I could get the outcome that I wanted. And if you want a different outcome, you're gonna have to put the time into it. So that's all it's gonna take.
Well,
But then
you said
that's
a
the
great.
big challenge then now, because most parents are, you have a lot of single parents household out there. They are struggling to make ends meet, and how do they cope with such routine? You have to have something that is more workable. You see what I mean? So, and if you can get to somewhere, middle ground somewhere, I don't know, maybe there are schools, the black community can be creating. I don't know how they create schools in the US. Because if you think the school is where the real issue is, then the solution is to create your own schools,
Yeah.
because it's gone on too long, and the numbers are really crazy out there that we keep reading every day. And I don't understand why we have billionaires in the US there, and these things are not being implemented. And I believe this is where, smart people like you guys will be asking for smart solutions, because sometimes we just tell them, you know what, do this for your community, but we don't ask them for precision. You have to go with precision. Say, okay, create schools. That's all we're asking for. You don't donate to charity. Don't do other nonsense. Just create schools for our communities. You know, and I think that is where the solution. That's why I'm asking, because I always want to get to the heart of the problem and let somebody start demanding. Because when you start asking for the right things, sooner or later you are on the right track. It's going to be solved.
Right, but sometimes, Shanaja, you can't ask. If you need something, you have to just do it. If you really want it, you're gonna have to do it. For like people who are single parents, they find babysitters to go to the club. You can go to the club. You can find a babysitter, do some, make a way to do it. Because in the black community, we do all kinds of things. We do all kinds of things with our money, weaves, tattoos, piercings. Do what you get your children some textbooks instead. You have people. I know people that get food stamps, but all their children eat are ramen noodles and hot dogs. You got first and get some good food. We tend to make the wrong decisions in the community and get mad when somebody points it out. We
Mm.
like little children who don't like to be disciplined. That's why we're in the condition we're in.
And this is why we are having these type of conversations, to get to the heart
That's
of
heavy.
things. We need to get to the heart of things, because it's not necessarily about pointing fingers, solving problems. Because if we take the mindset of getting to the heart of the solution, then demand. Because once you start making the right demand, it's a matter of time. Somebody is going to click in one of the problem solvers here that have the resources to do it, and they will start implementing those things. If these are the schools, I don't see any reason why it can't be solved. It will be solved if the community starts asking for it. They have billionaires in the community, they have politicians in the community. Demand it. Have them create schools that you control. After all, you have churches everywhere. What are the churches doing?
Right? Churches should be assisting more in that aspect. But hey, it is what it is. So that's why, as a parent, if you know you want something different, nobody's in more control of your children than you. And actually, it should only be you. Why do we have children in the first place? I
It's
had my children thinking they would be able to add some positive to humanity, to make some things different. Because when you have bad stuff existing in the world, all of that's perpetuated by people. So when you want the good to come, that's going to have to be perpetuated by good people. I had my children hoping to raise good people, to trying to change society for us, and they wasn't going to get it in public school. Public, it's like I said, it's too public. Everybody's opinion is in the public school except yours.
individuals like you and like me, and people that are very conscious will do it right. But there are a lot of parents that don't think. You see, they don't always think their children are going to slip into that. They don't. You think parents just send their children to school knowing that they're going to slip into that? They don't think that way. They think, okay, I will be able to walk, I'll be able to juggle it, and by the time you know it, it gets out of control. The same pattern repeats itself again, and this is why you have to cater to the ones that don't see it coming.
All right, Fitzgerald, go ahead and close this out, Fitzgerald.
No, where I first, yes, I absolutely agree with what the lady said. The last lady said, she articulated it much better than I have. But my mind thinks in solutions, ladies and gentlemen, and I agree that where we are as a people, and at this point right now, I don't want to depend upon solutions from outside because I believe that we have all the things that we need within our own nation. But if we stand to benefit from this the most, we need to do some radical surgery, and we need to look at it. A lot of stuff, a lot of these problems, like I alluded to, the prison pipe, the school to prison pipeline, that's starting in the school. I know there's things that people have to work. I know inflation is rising up and gas, it seems like it's out of control, and I know rents and mortgages, I know, but I don't want to sacrifice our family on the altar of convenience or the altar of I just gotta let someone else do it. We have to look at what influences are destroying our families and destroy them because they're not going to stop. And the main thing I see that is these school systems that it's just not for us. I mean, how many times we're hearing stories about coming out illiterate, can't read. Sometimes a 12th grade can't read at 4th grade level. I mean, why is that?
Fitzgerald, there was an article that in the Baltimore school district, I think I forgot the percentage of kids graduated could not read at all.
Yeah. I've heard of stories where some great athletes say no, and once again we're talking about Black people at the moment. I can include the other races in on another time, but we're just talking about this particular group who is most affected. I've heard of there was a story about for those of you who watch football, there's a gentleman named Dexter Manley. Dexter Manley was one of the most incredible defensive players in the National Football League history, but he couldn't hardly read. He's a pro. No, couldn't hardly read. Evidently, he's just being pushed to college. Why? Because he could perform. It's too much of that. And it's too much of our kids getting put in special education when they have a different learning style, or teachers having sex with students and expulsion rates of as far as that and this report and affect us. I say we need to take strongly, look very, very strongly and get a community together, a network together, and say, how can we homeschool, support each other, and then better yet, how can we look to get the necessary paperwork together to build a school? The support system become fairly easy. With the Zoom is invented. You parents can get support of each other, but we have to look at that because maybe this generation right now, maybe my generation, and let me see, the generation that would have came out to mind, you guys would probably be like 30-something years old and stuff like that. Maybe you think your life is gone. Maybe you think, there is no hope. This can be turned around. There's always hope. We gotta just stop using the same solutions just to create the problems. No. So I like to thank every one of you who have allowed me to impart. I certainly like to thank Prince Amir. Prince Amir is the reason for this stream. I want to stay away from it. I want to stay away from it. And I looked at, once again, I looked at some of my failures, looked at some of my things. Now you guys know that, hey, I'm childless, and so who am I to speak? But I'm a very good observer, and I'm a highly, highly intelligent man. And if I know, and I have Black nieces, Black nephews. I have other friends, other groups and stuff like that. And and they're under similar attack now, but not as bad as we are. And so I like to thank Prince Amir for actually pushing me into doing that. That's the power of a friend. That's the power of a friend. And, you know, and I really appreciate it. I'd certainly like to thank all the contributors, from Mr. Brandon and Mr. Campbell, Mr. Tunaja, Mr. Sada, excuse me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Mr. Black African. You know, I feel good about this stream. I really feel it's not like some of the streams I listen to, and whether just you just throw your hands up like, man, what the hell are they talking about? It sounds like you got to law this arguing and contention, but yet we're back in the same place. So think about the stream. You guys might want to watch the stream a second. No, you might. It is not might. You will want to watch the stream a second time. This is a very, very important stream. Not because I'm here. You know who am I? You know, because of what we're trying to accomplish. You will not have a strong society. You will not have a strong a black nation without a strong black family. And there are rules to that, as I said that. So let's just get over. I hope Prince Amir has more subjects, more talks on this matter, bringing in more guests. You know, I don't have to be the one up there, but I hope he will have more, because this is vital. I mean, this is so vital. And we're seeing the thing that we're seeing, the destruction of it. I mean, you know, Miss Asata, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing the name. Why is the she, you know, why is the she heard more? These are the voices we need. You know, these are voices. Me, Mr. Black After running suspect. These are the voices we need to hear out there, not the ones that talk about this and talk about stuff for that doesn't benefit, it doesn't lead to the solution. These are the ones we really need to hear from. And this lady, Miss Asante, was start a YouTube channel. Heck, I'll be the first subscriber. You know, but this is a very, very important subject. Very, very important subject. Forget about us. Think about the next generations. Think about your children, your grandchildren. What type of life do you want from them? And on that note, Prince Amir, thank you very much for having me on the show. I love you. I respect you, man. The work you do. I said it time before, and it merits saying again. It's vital. Keep doing this, man. Keep bringing topics that you're not going to hear on BBC, CNN, ABC, Al Jazeera. Keep hearing. Keep bringing topics like this, you know, and because if we're going to heal ourselves, if we're going to heal, we're the doctor. Where's the one to do this, you know? And so, God bless you all. I appreciate it. Even really do.
All right, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Brother Fitzgerald Stevens' channel. Find ways to win. Again, find ways to win. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.